So welcome back to Never Settle. This is Sarah Kiriconi. Today I have a very special guest, friend. We were just chatting for about 20 minutes before we actually remembered to hit record. Stephanie LaTorre. She is the founder and creator, CEO of Stephanie LaTorre Designs. Incredible wealth of knowledge when it comes to website, SEO, design. We were just talking, and then I'll let you introduce yourself. Stephanie, we were just talking for like 15 minutes. It's like, I want to hire Stephanie to help. I'll let you take it away from here.
Hi, everyone. And thank you, Sarah. I'm so excited to be here. It's been like the happy point of my week this week, honestly. So excited to be here with you. Yeah, a little bit about me. Let's see. 10 years ago, I quit my life in America and moved to the beach in southern Italy. Yes, it does sound like a movie that you've seen before.
We're in.
I think they've made a few movies. Exactly. And yeah, I had web design was a hobby of mine back then. It wasn't even a big thing. Like there was no Instagram. There were no podcasts, I don't think. There was YouTube. We did have YouTube, and we had Facebook and Twitter. That was about it. So it was a very different online space from the one that we live in today. And it was just a hobby of mine. And I just had this like feeling, like this thing pulling on me, like, just do this, just move to Italy and work online, web design. You can do something, like something's going to happen here. Everyone thought I was crazy. Some members of my family still won't talk to me because of it. And, my mom sent me a Bible. True story. She was very, very nervous.
Was there a note or was there a reason? I mean,
no, just, to have one with me at all times. I love you, Mommy. Yes, everything worked out really, really well. I came here back in 2011 and settled down. I came to my father's hometown. My father actually grew up in this town where I moved to. And I was very, very mad at my father when I got here because I have always loved the beach. And I did not know that not only did he grow up on the beach, he grew up in one of the top 10 beach destinations of Italy.
What's the beach's name, by the way?
Tropea.
Tropea?
Yes, Tropea for those of you who are probably going to be Googling it very soon. It's one of the top, it's a blue flag beach here in southern Italy. It's overlooking Sicily and the Aeolian Islands, and it's just paradise. It's absolute heaven. And I just consider myself lucky, so lucky that every day I get to wake up here and it's warm, it doesn't snow, we have great food, it's clean living, and I could not have picked like a better place on the planet to settle down in. So.
Oh, it sounds amazing. I'm half, like 50%, like, can she please stop already? Like, I'm looking out at the same time. I'm like, you go, girl. Like, the big part of my heart, of course, is like, that's what Never Settling is about. Yes. What I love hearing on all of that is people thought you were crazy. People turn their back. They say, like, what is she doing? And something that I've recognized, and you're a beautiful storyteller too, by the way. As you're telling the story, it's like I'm getting closer and closer. When people start to question, do you also believe too, like what were their limiting beliefs around that and how it projects?
I mean, I grew up in Caldwell, New Jersey, which the only thing you would ever know that from is the show The Sopranos was filmed there. Like literally, that's. And Grover Cleveland, one of our former presidents, was born there. Okay. Literally, the two exciting things about Caldwell, it was a very small town, very like my parents went to the same high school, and like it just, you don't do things that aren't on the normal path. The normal path is you go to school, you get good grades, you go to college, you get good grades, you graduate, maybe you go for your master's or a doctorate or something. After college, you get a job, you settle down, you get the house, you have the kids. And you continue doing that for the rest of your life. And when I was 19, I was like, that is not what I want to do. I don't want that path.
At 19, good for you. Yeah.
That didn't sound like what I wanted.
Right.
And so I actually said to a friend of mine and some family members, I think I want to go to Italy. Like my dad's from there. I want to maybe go see. And everyone told me that's a stupid idea. why would you even think of that? And 19-year-old Stephanie, I'm sorry to admit, she listened to them. She didn't go.
It's a young age, I think, too, I mean, we can be rebellious, but that's a young age to really go against 100%. How did that feel?
I mean, as much as I thought I was a rebel when I was 19, I was not.
That's honesty. I agree with you. And I was a lot the same. But
like in 19, think, I'm going out and I'm having fun. I'm rebelling against the system, man. But not as rebellious at all as I thought I was. And I didn't go to Italy at 19. I got a job and I settled down. I got an apartment and I had some fun in the US. Don't get me wrong. I traveled all over the US. I spent some time in California. I drove from New York to California by myself in a little Jeep with my cat in the truck with me. I had some fun adventures for sure. But something was always off. You know how like, you just feel like something's wrong, like something's missing, or like the mom from Home Alone in the first movie when she gets on the airplane, like we forgot something's not right. You just have that feeling. And that's honestly how I spent the next few years of my life in America, just not feeling like a fish out of water, feeling like something was off and something was missing.
Do you think that's why you traveled a lot too?
I think so.
Around because you're looking for something.
Yeah. I was trying to figure out what that was. I never found a place that I wanted to call home or raise a family for sure. Like there was no place in America that I found that I personally wanted to raise a family or settle down. Not that there aren't great places in America. I don't want to say that. I love America. I grew up there. I love going back and visiting family. You know, my husband and I go back.
Yeah. It's like, it's nice, but it's really cold.
It didn't feel right to me. And when I was 26, she said, convinced, we were dealing with something with my father with the Italian consulate, and they said, by the way, you guys haven't brought in your documents. We're like, what documents? What are you talking about? What do we have to do? I said, yeah, you're all eligible for citizenship and residency because your father's an Italian citizen. I said, oh, thank you. I basically hung up. Like that was the sign from the universe that I needed. I didn't think after that. I'm moving to Italy.
Oh, I love
that was it. There was no telling people. Yeah. It was pack your bag. We had Craigslist back then to sell stuff on. I don't even know if that's still right.
It's still right. Yeah, it's still there. Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Same format.
It's comforting.
We're not that old.
Strangely comforting. Yeah, sold everything I could. I mean, honestly, definitely the universe, God, whatever you want to call it, was on my side for this whole process because, plane tickets and fairly young woman moving to Europe to a country that she doesn't speak the language, hasn't seen her family members since she was about 3 years old. There was definitely
do you speak Italian now?
I do. I am now fluent. Yes. I've been here 10 years.
Yeah, I think we need to.
Yeah.
So when you transitioned to working over in Italy, and now finding and discovering, I want to do web design, you initially started with more SEO. You were more SEO driven, correct?
I honestly, in the beginning, just whatever you would pay me for. I remember I was there's this site on Upwork and people would post that they need stuff, they need help. Like I can do that. I can write this. I can create that design. I can create that graphic. I can do social media. I can do whatever you want. And then I would get hired for it. And I would spend the whole night learning how to do it. So I could be ready for the meeting the next day or the interview the next day. It was honestly, I started working online. It was like a part-time thing. And my husband and I had been together for a little while. We were living together at that point. And I was still working summers locally. And there was something in me that was like, you can't keep doing both. Like you have to pick one. It's one or the other at this point. And I was not making a ton of money online at this time. We're talking about $500 US, which the rates, the conversion rates back then from US to euro, were not great.
Euro had a higher.
Yeah, it was much, much higher. It was maybe about 300 euro a month, much less than what I was making working a regular job for the summer. And I just remember my husband came home randomly in the afternoon. I was getting ready to go to work, and I just broke down crying. We're talking ugly cry. This was not something that you want your boyfriend to see, especially when you've only been together for like a year. I was bawling my eyes out, and he looks at me, he goes, "What's wrong?" I'm like, "Please don't make me go back there. I don't want to go to work. I just don't make me go there." And in his defense, he had already bought my engagement ring at that point. Uh-huh. So it may have been kind of like a point of no return. He was like, "Just don't go."
Oh, there's return until the vows are done. And even after the vows, there's return, there's redemption. We'll put it that way. Oh, he loves you. That's why.
I had it in my head. I think it was more me than any, like, he's looking at me like, dude, no one's forcing you to go do this. Like, we're okay. He was working.
But that pressure.
Exactly. It was all in my head. It was all me, 100%.
It's that same 19-year-old voice in your head that said, I have to do this.
Yes. And I was terrified when I quit, like hands shaking, voice trembling. A few days later when I quit, I was honestly just like, I can't do this. But I did it. I'm much more courageous than I'm making myself sound at the moment. And I sat actually in this very spot, because this used to be our bedroom, and I sat in my bed for the next like 6 months, and I just worked. I woke up, I turned my computer on. I stayed on my computer all day, all night. I did take time to go to the beach, but for the most part, I was there. I was working. I was present. I was learning my skills. I was trying different things out. I was trying things that I loved. I was learning things that I don't love. I was doing VA work. I was doing whatever it would take to start generating income online. And it was about 2 years of that before I really started to say, okay, I like doing this. I'm only going to focus on this right here.
Your share really hits home for, I'm sure, a lot of listeners, because many people want to make the leap to create their own schedule. And they say, where do I start? And something so intelligent that you did, you said, I took this time, I learned and worked my ass off doing whatever, culo, no? And culo. And you tried so many different things. You just put your head down. You said, I don't, and it's important because you didn't just say, I like this. You said, I don't like this. Because when you realize what you don't like doing, you just like guess who'd one thing off the list. But then you started to focus in. It took you 2 years, you said?
It took me 2 years to really realize that the focus and that I wanted was web design, development, and SEO. And I really, even now, I've refined my services. We're only offering web design services at the moment. Because of the same situation, because I realized, and last year, one of my biggest income generators was SEO work. And it was actually Michael Hyatt's book, Free to Focus. He has you do like a little time study of write down all the things that you do during the week and grade it. Like, did you enjoy doing this? And I realized that all the stuff I loved doing was the design. And all the stuff I didn't love doing, but was very good at, and it was very knowledgeable about because of all that studying, was the SEO and development work. And so that journey has continued for me, for sure.
I'm going to ask this from a selfish perspective because one, I've been there, and two, because I think you're tapping into something that can help a lot of people. How do you pull away from where you're making the biggest return in income with time? How do you walk away from that and start to walk more in a direction that's more aligned with yourself? So you walked away from SEO a little bit, and you're starting to redirect another direction that resonates with you.
Yes. Faith, visualization, meditation. Back in 2016, I hit a wall. So figure just to give you a little bit of timeline, 2013 was my ugly crying moment. Somewhere around 2015, the beginning of 2015 was when I really decided to start focusing on specific areas. And by the end of 2016, I hit a wall with my business. Now, I come from a corporate background. I had a very good job in the US. I was very good at what I did. I was very good at managing my team. And I thought, if I can do this for other big corporations, I can certainly do this for myself. For sure. And then I started running my own business and realized that I could not break a certain income level. I could not move my business forward. And that was when I realized that it was not an issue of doing the work on the business. It was an issue of doing the work on myself. This was when I needed to start doing the mindset work. And this is, you ask any 7-figure business owner, creator in the world, what have they done? They've meditated, they've done the work, they've done the mindset work, they've read the books, they've gone to the seminars, they've trained with the people. There is no one in the world who is generating 7-figure income right now who has not done something. I'm going to say that pretty positively.
Bold. It says be bold above your head for
it does.
Who are watching.
It says be bold above my head, very, very specifically. It also says here, my other favorite quote,
what if I fail? Oh, my darling, but what if I fly? That has been one of my favorite quotes as well. And honestly, I think I would say to anyone who's in this space of letting go of one thing because they're feeling passionately about moving towards something else, you have to have faith. You have to move forward. You definitely need a good support system. I have an amazing support system in the Female Entrepreneur Network. My business besties, my mastermind, I have my friends who were texting all day long. I built a quiz and I'm going to lose my mind right now. I just said the weirdest thing on a podcast.
Not yet. You had your crying moment, but I think you're in good weirdo company over here. Which, by the way, I have to say, if you had one bad crying moment like that, girl, you're rocking life. Let me tell you.
It was an ugly cry. Let me tell you.
Well, I applaud that still.
I laugh at it now. Obviously, it was not in the time, but it's just looking back at, these things, we feel so emotionally pulled towards something and we get so scared and so pulled back by our fears that it takes us time to react and it takes us time to make that leap. But once we do, and once we get to that other side, and once we see the things working out and the right people coming to you and the right offers coming to you, hindsight is 2020. It's definitely a situation of once you make that leap, that's when the amazing things start to happen for you. And that took me a long time to really kind of learn and comprehend.
I don't know who quoted this one, but it's you have to hit the breakdown. You have to break down to hit the breakthrough. What's a tip for a leader for creating culture? Because culture is really everything.
So I can't take full credit for this. A lot of what I've learned about creating a company culture, I learned from the amazing Carrie Green, who's my mentor of the Female Entrepreneur Association. In fact, last year I went to her and I said, I'm trying to build a team, but every time I try, it's just not working. And she gave me some amazing tips. Some of the amazing tips that she gave me was definitely around the hiring process. Start it from the beginning. In fact, this morning we had our quarterly team get together. It's just a fun hour where they can ask me anything and if they need help with something, or honestly, this morning we were just kind of chatting with all the craziness going on in the world today. And it was really sweet too, because every single one of them just said what an honor it is to be a part of the team and part of the family, and just to see the culture that we've created. I've tried to make sure that the experience that people get from working on my team, it's the same experience for everyone. Anyone who comes onto my team, it's the exact same procedure, it's the exact same experience. And I've really focused this last year on making it so that they not only get to know me and their job, but understand what we're about as a company and what we stand for and how we're trying to change the world.
Or what is your company about?
So we believe that, okay, I'm going to step back for this for a second. So for those of you who don't know, yes. For those of you who don't know, building a website, it's a process. It can be an emotional process as well. So we like to make sure that we are building websites that are not only beautiful, but that work and don't break. And also make sure that the whole process for you is fun and enjoyable, because we don't want this to be, you have enough stress as a business owner or trying to do something new in your business, and we don't want this to be a stress point for you. So we do everything in our power to make sure that from the beginning, everything is going smoothly and you're enjoying the process and you get the website that you deserve and that your business needs moving forward.
Functionability and breathability.
Yes. I do not believe that there is a one solution fits all. I do not believe that WordPress is the everything when it comes to web design, nor is Squarespace, nor is Kajabi. I think all the platforms are wonderful. I think all of the systems that are out there are wonderful. And really, the answer to what platform you should be on depends on what you want your website or your membership or your course or whatever it is that you're building to have. What's most important to you in that process. So
you bring up courses, and I want to kind of leap to that. You are creating an entire course development, which you're also going to be a part of the Warrior University. Why don't you tell listeners the course that you're currently in development on? You have, you're going to be doing workshops coming up as well, and then we'll jump into some Never Settle stuff and then wrap it all up for the weekend in Italia.
Yes. Oh, the beach is calling my name. Okay. So one of the things that I was chatting with you about working on for the Warrior is, again, even before you start your website, there is a process that you go through. There is an idea, a little niggle that happens in your brain, something pulling towards you, something saying, Sarah, go do this now. And building your website is just a part of that. There's a lot of different parts to it. There's funnels, there's social media, there's branding, there's the dreaded ICA. For those of you who don't know, ICA is your ideal client avatar. I don't love doing those exercises, but they are very, very important.
Her name is Ariel. She loves to be by the beach. She has a little friend and she sings on a fork. She's searching for love in all the wrong places and gives up her. Anyway, okay.
Yes.
Little Mermaid.
That is exactly more me than it is.
That's an example of that's an example of ICA. Anyway.
And so, yeah, I would love to develop something with you, and just like we were chatting about before, to make this process fun and easy too, because it honestly can be. And, you know, if you ask me questions about how I started my business, I would not in a million years start my business the way I did today, because there are so many more tools available for you that can make the process much, much easier. Like the technology has changed everything in the online business space. And B, I did it the hard way, and I don't want others to do it the hard way. You know, I don't want you ugly crying. I want you to enjoy the process. And I think that, especially with everything that's going on in the world right now, it's so needed. More people in the online space doing wonderful things, as opposed to just feeling like they have to wake up and be on the path and do it all over again every single day.
Breaking
That's
all
what
the
I
check
would
boxes. Yeah,
with you.
I love that. Well, we look forward to having you there. So I think you touched on already a never settle moment. So I'll just, as far as like, I mean, probably 10, I think in this conversation alone, we were like, nope, didn't want to do that. Nope, said nope. Crying moment, doing this. I don't want to do SEO. And I'm like, yep, girl is my kind of language and blood. A lot of shit like that too. It's like, don't want to work in corporate, don't want to do yoga. Okay. What's never settled to you, Stephanie?
Never settled to me. I remember this very specifically when I was working in corporate and I wanted to take a trip to Mexico. And I felt like a 5-year-old. Now I was 25, which I realize is young, but I was old enough at that point. I had my own apartment and so on and so forth. I went to my boss and I said, can I have a week off in 2 weeks to go to Mexico? Like a freaking 5-year-old. Like, who has to ask someone to go on vacation? I did not, that to me was not okay. And just, I don't know, I'm probably unemployable, quite honestly, at this point, but that felt very restraining to me. And so never settle for me means that, you know what, if I want to take the month of August off, I'm going to take the month of August off, which we do in Italy. In fact, Ferragosto, it's a very important day. It's on a Sunday, I think, this year, but we'll stretch it out a little bit. It's that, next week I start going down to 4-day work weeks. And then around June, July, I go down to 3-day work weeks. And then in August, I go down to 2-day work weeks. And then it goes back into the winter, because the winter it rains here and there's nothing else to do anyway. So, but that to me means never settling, being able to decide your own schedule, how you're going to live your days. And it doesn't matter if it changes week to week or month to month or day to day. The important thing is that I get to decide how I'm spending my days. That to me is never settling.
I can't even follow up with anything other than that. I was just like, mic drop, pin, that's freedom. And I just, it's singing to my heart. So from that cheesy line, Sarah, where can we find you, Stephanie?
Definitely, Sarah, I love to hang out on Instagram. My Instagram is @I am Stephanie LaTorre. And my website is also stephanielatorre.com. I will be holding weekly workshops coming up soon, starting in the month of May, where you're going to just come and watch me. I think the first workshop, I'm going to build a website in 30 minutes. So it's going to be a fun time.
Finish your espresso while Stephanie builds a website. All of those links we're, of course, going to drop below in the description that you can join. Your Instagram, you have tons of tips that you're posting over there too. So be sure to follow Stephanie there on Insta. A lot of resources on her website as well. And those weekly classes sound I'm intrigued to see this 30-minute website. And we look forward to having you on Warrior University for more coming soon. Your energy, your inspiration, your light, you're pure freedom. I love it. Thank you so much, Stephanie.
Thank you, Sarah. It was great chatting with you today.
You too, Bella Donna.
Mwah.
Baji, no? Baji.
Baci.
Yeah.
Baci.
Okay.
I will say when we say goodbye in Italy, we don't say ciao. We say ciao, 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 ciao. Like bye.
Okay. It's like really gotta go. Bye. Oh, I love it. Thank you again, Stephanie. Signing off. Never settle. We'll see you in an upcoming episode. Thanks for listening and tuning in, Warriors.